Welcome to South Asia. This is J. Reddy from South Asia Maps channel, your facilitator. We are continuing our fascinating meanderings, journeys in the land of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the land of 5 rivers, 5 Abs, 5 Dobs, tributaries of majestic Sindhu river. And we are in BARI Doab today, and we are discussing Punjab's geography, BARI Doab. Some musings. The topic will be very interesting today. I will bring the large contemporary knowledge of at that time regarding the partition of BARI Doab. Musing is simply a reflection, certain idea that talking about certain things. And before, just let me read the subtitle of this talk. Punjab Geography, BARI Doab, the region between Beas river in the south, Ravi river in the north, the Doab, musings, reflection, ZamZama top, artillery or a big gun at Lahore is fired. It fires. The resident of Nahar, Nahar means Canal, Nehru. He takes the flight. Notices his Poorna resolution, Congress resolution of 1930, had a no place that was passed on the historic Lahore city on the Ravi river bank in the BARI Doab, which we are relating today. His city has no place in the truncated realm, that is Darul Harb. He was a prime minister of Darul Harb from 46 to 64 till his death, almost 17, 18 years. Unfortunate story of Congress. Is it a Congress cowardice? Is the inability to see through the Saiful Islam, the sword of Islam, or is ideological naivete, simplicity or ignorance, jahiliya, about the closed militant creed of Islam marketed as a religion or imposed as religion. So the interesting event, the firing of ZamZama gun, the top artillery in the great Punjab plains of BARI Doab, fired at Lahore city, at Minar-e-Pakistan, that is historic Lahore resolution by the All India Muslim League, AIML, on the March 23rd, 1940, at the beginning of the World War II, in the Punjab plains at BARI Doab. That is the musing, the reflection today by your articulate facilitator at South Asia in Maps. Welcome to the very interesting talk. This talk is not just about the land, talking about the rivers, their sources, their mouths, the destination, drawing certain lines. This is the deep, ideological, philosophical land of looking. The Punjab region, south of Sivaliks, north of Kandahar, Kashmir, Thar Desert region, putting all the history and everything together, giving you a fascinating story. Please take it and have a patience to go through it. And this is what I am going to talk today. Let me explain. So we will come to this subtitle of our Punjab Geography BARI Doab musings at the end, where once you get all these puzzle pictures put together, you will know what I am talking, and will have a great inkling of that land, that terrain, and you can articulate and see through fascinating events, heritage, history that has flowed through the mighty Indus Plains of South Asia. This is what I am going to talk, and I will tell you brief, and I will connect all these stories together. Minar-e-Pakistan. This Islamic monument was built in a place where Pakistan resolution was passed by All India Muslim League in March 1940, 23 March. We'll talk about the ZamZama gun, what it is. This is as usual, we have gone through the BARI Doab, the Beas river in the north, Ravi river in the north and Beas river in the south, Gurdaspur district, Amritsar district, Radcliffe line and Ravi line, the dividing line between Darul Harb and Darul Islam, Lahore district, Shahiwal district, Montgomery district, Multan district, BARI Doab, ZamZama gun, gun and Minar-e-Pakistan. Before that, you have to have a broader understanding of the certain important terminologies, historical events, and after that you will get what we are talking about. Durranis. Durranis are Abdalis, a people, a tribes among the Pashtun-speaking people of Pakistan and Afghania area. Prominent Durrani Ahmad Shah, Ahmad Khan Abdali, later Ahmad Shah Abdali, a general of Nadir Shah, took power at Kandahar after the assassination of Nadir Shah in 1747. Essentially, Ahmad Shah Abdali, called Durrani, the title of his dynasty, established modern Afghanistan in 1747. Various branches of it, like Muhammad Jais, Popal Jais, Barak Jais, ruled Afghanistan from 1747 to 1973 or so, when last ruler Zahir Shah was overthrown by Nur Muhammad Taraki. Then the most important Ahmad Khan Abdali's role in our talk today, he is the victor of Panipat battle, Panipat 3 on the plains in the Canal district north of Sonipat, and where the gun was made, that ZamZama gun, also called Kim's gun, and it was fired, rather to say it was used against his belligerents, adversaries from Deccan Marathas, led by Sadashiva Rao Bavo and Vishwas Rao, the relatives and of generals of Peshwa Bajirao too. ZamZama gun was used at that time. It was after the victory. The Shah went back to his arid mountainous Kandahar and he could not take the ZamZama gun that played an important role in gaining the Pyrrhic victory at Panipat, and he left it Lahore Fort, historic Lahore Fort on the Ravi river in the BARI Doab. And later it changed the hand to many people, like there was a lot of missiles at that time, the small principalities of the six, that Bhangi missile and so on, Sukerchakia missile, they changed hand, this gun. One time it went to Bhangi people, Bhangi missiles called Bhangi top, also went to Sukerchakia missile, and the missile that Maharaja Ranjit Singh belonged to. So symbolically it is a very powerful gun. Still it is present in the Lahore museum area, that was we are showing here. That is about Durranis, the dynasty established, and the victor belonged to that dynasty. Battle of Panipat is the major battle that has a decisive place, entered the concept of rise of the British imperialism, overtaking the Islamic imperialism, the Lahore resolution, and the moving of Islamdom, Darul Islam, east of Radcliffe. All these things are directly correlated to Panipat Battle 3. So if you look at in a long-term view, and the rise of Khalsa, Raj. Nahar is a Persian word. Nahar The people who resided near that Nahar called Kauls, a Brahmin family originally from the Vale of Kashmir, between the Panjal and Himalayas. They resided there in Purbiya Plains, Awadh region, Indo-Gangetic Plains, at the time called Nahars. Motilal Nehru, his descendant, Jawaharlal Nehru, and so on. So the Nahar means canal. Islamic imperialism, the rule by Islam, is an imperialistic ideology under the divine God, supplanted by the British imperialism in Bharat. Collapse of Islamic imperialism after the death of Alamgir Aurangzeb, rise of Maratha Empire, the interregnum. Finally, it was overtaken by British imperialism. You can look at that by the yogic view of Mahayogi Ram Swarup Ji of Voice of India. The point here we are talking is Nehru Ji and Gandhi Ji and entire the Congress political party in 1930 went to Lahore. They made a session in Lahore session, and passed a resolution. Excuse me. The resolution is called Sampurna resolution. That means previously Congress folks were just asking, give this job, that job, deputy collector job, deputy commissioner job, collector job, divisional commissioner job to this is local people. Later Tilak and all those people told, what is this nonsense you are doing? This is our country, our land, our territory, our bhumi, our Watan. You should not be asking the British imperialists to do this. And the congressmen, some people realized it, and they passed the resolution called Complete Independence Resolution. That is Sampurna resolution. The resolution, Sampurna means complete, was passed on the Lahore River on the BARI Doab in the Indus Plains of historic Indo-Gangetic Plains of Bharat. That is Sampurna resolution. Later, the Islamic imperialism, spearheaded by All India Muslim League, sensed the confusion, lack of ideological cohesion among the Congress folks, and they went to the same place 10 years back, throw a gauntlet called challenge. They said, it is not the complete resolution, give us our separate land, Pak, pure land. They said the entire land they felt is impure, and they want a pure land. That is called Lahore resolution. Newspapers is called Pakistan resolution also, even though the word Lahore, Pakistan was not at all there. It was quite vague. As usual, the political parties, organizations, they will keep it as a bargaining chip. It may be occurred or it may not occur, but they can bargain. So they will ask for 100 points. They may have hope at least they will get 60, 70, 80, and they are surprised they got more than 100 eventually. That is called Lahore resolution by the All India Muslim League, also called later Pakistan resolution. That was passed on 23rd March of 1940. That is a counter to the Congress resolution passed 10 years back. The choosing of the place, the slightly Muslim majority province of British India, it is not just casual. So historical events doesn't occur casually. There are always the planners, the thinkers. These are the only few people, and we have to pay attention to that. That's what we are discussing today. We are looking at the inward things that happen. That is called Sampurna resolution, and later Lahore resolution of Muslim League. Sampurna resolution, complete resolution, was passed by the Indian National Congress or Notional Congress. Notional means they have vague idea. They didn't know or articulated India is an ancient land of ancient people. They took Macaulay concept, Macaulay intellectual equipage, and thought it is amalgamation, potpourri of so many languages, religions, caste, and all this. The simplicity, lack of intellectual equipage, that was there. So the party name is Indian National Congress. Name itself Indian. It's not Bharatiya, anything like that. It's a notional Congress, passed that resolution. Later Muslim League, the name itself is very Islamic aggression. They doesn't belong this land. They belong to Jazirat al-Arabia, Makkah, Medina, Karbala, and so on. So they passed a resolution countering the Congress resolution. So now there is a challenge. The serious observers of Deccan Indo-Gangetic plains are paying attention. Who will win? The League will win or the Congress will win? And the British were, at that time, it's very quite clear, when Hitler moved his army east of into the Polish border, World War II declared in 1939 September. At that time it is very clear British Empire has collapsed, and whether they win or lose, they have to eventually shed their colonies. September, in March, almost 8 or 9 months, the Lahore resolution was passed. Confused Congress and observers were looking. Finally, the events showed in 47 the League has won, the Islamic spearhead was won. Saiful Islam has won. That is, looking back, called hindsight, we can put all those things together, and now we can conclude. This was the old Congress, very old, tired leadership. Gandhi was born in 69-18 and Patel was born in 75. They became very old and tired. They wanted to rule a land, and the League took to the gangster style of politics called Islamic gangsterism, Islamic thuggery. That's how the Islam spread when it was announced in Mecca. In Hejaz, nobody used to buy it, and finally Prophet took his talwar, Shaif, and forced on it, called swordsmen of Islam. Rasul, the Ali, Khalid bin Walid, later Muhammad bin Qasim, Sultan of Ghaznavi, Sultan of Ghor, Qutbuddin Aibak, Mamluk slave sultans, Jahiruddin Babur, and so on. So the jaded, old, tired Congress finally agreed. They couldn't resist or counter the Islamic gangsterism, and large-scale Naukali riots, Tipera riots, Calcutta killings, direct action day. Those things we'll talk some other time. So Islam gains a major victory in Indo-Gangetic plains. The first time after the invasion of Ghaznavis, they invaded, looted, went back and has kingdoms, but still at the ground level in the Punjab plains, lot of Kafirs, native people following the native religion culture resided. Of course, there are Islamic proselytes among the Punjabis and Pashtuns, they also resided. But the land was not completely devoid of the native people and culture. First time, 1947, the 5 Subas, Suba of Paschim Punjab, west of Ravi River, west of Radcliffe Award, and Sarihad Suba, northwest frontier province or Peshawar province, or Pakhtunkhwa, the land of Pashtun people, and Baluch region, Brahu region, Quetta region, Kalat region, and Gwadar and all those areas, and Sindh province, Sindh, Hyderabad, Khairpur, Thatta, Mirpurkhas, Shikarpur, those areas. East Bengal, Purbi Bengal, that is the Radcliffe line. So, that firing of the ZamZama gun, when the resident of Nahar took to flight, showing his back, that means the battle even not even joined. When the Jinnah fired the ZamZama gun, these Jews all declared, they all start shouting Ahimsa, non-violence, just posing very, very high-sounding ideas. Ahimsa is a very great concept in Buddhist and Hindu philosophies, and great sages, savants, rishis, yogis practice it. But that was misinterpreted by these Congress notional leaders. I have all due respect for them, but we have to critique at this particular point. In facing pure gangsters masquerading under the religious garb, want to divide their motherland, and that was it happened. Ancient land was deprived of its own people, cultural monuments, Overnight, Mother Sindhu has become alien to the people who build it. Islamic proselytes, Islamic converts, Punjabi Muslims, overnight eliminated their own parent body people, Hindus, Sikhs. How they got this idea? That is the fascinating theology, interesting theology of Islam. You have to understand. That was dissected first time by the India's greatest intellectual thinker, Mahayogi, Maharishi of modern time, Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarup. I have put the link for his books in this presentation on Voice of India book sites. Just go look it and see about the yogic vision he brings of the history, culture, heritage of his land. That is in brief about that. Let's connect the story now. These things we talk about. What are we are talking about? Punjab geography and BARI Doab, the land between Beas River on the south, Ravi River in the north, the great historic Indo-Gangetic plains. We are reflecting on the events, on this geography, on this land. Radcliffe Award reflections. ZamZama gun, artillery, tow, 5 Lahore, the historic city named after the son of Sri Rama. Lahore, Sri Rama has 2 sons, Lava and Kusha. Lahore is Lahore. Kusha's name, other town was built Kashur. Kashur and Lahore are close by in the BARI Doab area today. ZamZama top fights at Lahore in the Pakistan resolution of 23rd March 1940 by the Islamic spearhead All India Muslim League under the leadership of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Liaquat Ali Khan, Jafrullah Khan and Fazlul Haq and all those leadership, and a resident of Nahar, Nehru in Prayag, Allahabad, Fulpur, those regions heard this firing of the gun. From the same place he passed the resolution 10 years back and took to flight, landed in Delhi, gave a great speech in the August 16 Freedom at Midnight. And I was a very great fan of that speech during my youth. And later, after going to the works of Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarup, I vomited it. What are you talking? The nonsense. Is it really a historic Freedom at Midnight? The city on which you passed the resolution didn't find the place on the Vatan you are going to rule. That is the thing. Audience can judge and think about it. So, when the gun was fired, resident of Nahar, the Canal, took to flight. He notices that his complete resolution he passed 10 years back in 1930, Lahore resolution, complete independence resolution, has no place in the truncated Bharat, truncated South Asia, truncated India. His realm, that is Darul Harb, east of Ravi River, symbolic, Radcliffe Award. Is it unfortunate story of the Congress cowardice, Congress pusillanimity? Is it inability of the Hindu intellectuals? It's not just only blaming of the Congress. That is also not correct. We are only pointing a certain point, not trying to find a scapegoat for particular event. Poor intellectualism among the Hindus to see through the Islam, that is the imperialism, is the main cause. That is the analysis. Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarup ji and intellectual Kshatriya, the Rajarshi, Sitaram Goyal ji, the think tank, analyzed and gave to us. Inability to see through the Saiful Islam, the sword of Islam, ideological naivety about the closed creed masquerading as a religion or a militant creed of Islam. The interesting event in Punjab plains played in the BARI Doab, the fascinating BARI Doab at Lahore, today's place called Minar-e-Pakistan. There is no, it's a historic land. There is no, here Minar-e-Pakistan, those guys named has nothing with local. Minar is Arabic word, their structure, like see the Minar. Arabic word, Pak means pure, Persian word. The local Sanskrit, Punjabi, Sharaiki, Landa, all these have local words, but Islam has nothing to do with local. They just need a convert, a proselyte locally, abandoning his culture, religion, looking at 5 times a day, Mecca, Medina, all just getting indoctrinated. So at least they should have named this monument they built as victory something local. Unfortunately, that is not happened. So that's the story. So what did we discuss today? Today we discussed about the Punjab geography, Durrani empires, Panipat great historic battle that was fought in January 2nd week in 1761 that decided the fate of South Asia. In fact, that is the precursor for the rise of the Islam, rise of British imperialism in Indo-Gangetic Plains and Deccan, rise of Sikhism, the Khalsa Raj and missiles. Nehru family, Kaul family, Brahmin family immigrated to the Indo-Gangetic Plains, Purbiya Plains, settled in next to a Nahar or a canal in Allahabad region. We talked about the Islamic imperialism. We talk about its collapse in India or temporary eclipse, then the rise of British imperialism, yogic vision of Maha-yogi Sri Ram Swarup Ji. We talked about the Sampurna resolution of Congress in 1930. We talked about the Lahore resolution of the League in 1940. The Lahore resolution is opening of the Islamic aggression sword, like Muhammad bin Qasim or Rasul, Prophet Muhammad opening his sword on the native Arabic Quraysh culture, their pagan gods. It's the same Islamic aggression, nicely passed as a resolution. Confusion among the Congress leadership, the old jaded, tired Congress leadership has inability to face the jihadis, Ghazwis, fight with they saw the opportunity after the World War II when they know the British they are going to depart. At that time they brought lot of young leadership and very vigorous. The Islam gains a major victory by firing this ZamZama gun at Lahore. It snatched away. They even didn't thought about it. It was an accident that happened, and West Punjab, Pashtunkhwa, Sarihad Shuba, Baluch province, Sindh province, and Purbi Bengal, and Radcliffe line. West of river Ravi is Radcliffe, east of river Hooghly. That you should not forget. Radcliffe always think people is Ravi river. Radcliffe is also other part in the east. That is called Hooghly river or Bhagirathi river. East of it we have Dinajpur, Rangapur, Rajashahi, Pabna, Bogra, Jeshore, Dhaka, Mymensingh, Shilhet, and Chittagong, Naukali, Barishol, Patwakali, all those regions. West, if you have Ravi river, west of Ravi river is Darul Islam, east of Hooghly river or Bhagirathi river, or which is a tributary of Ganga, we can say Ganga also, broadly, it is also Radcliffe river. So, Islam get rid of all the traces of Kafir, Sikhs who held the biggest land, the most richest farmlands of the planet Earth, Canal colony districts, they were overnight wiped out. They all fled for their lives. Gandhiji, Nehruji sat in Delhi in the Prastaya preaching and all this nonsense. They didn't stand behind their people, whom they blindly believed the leader Gandhiji will support them. That was very, very unfortunate. They didn't have ability to resist the Islamic gangsterism, thuggery, street riots at local level. The ancient land and people were wiped out, Darul Islam was established on our land, their land actually, Punjabi Muslims' land. It's not Arabs' land. They are the same people, but Islamic proselytes converts. Islam, Ram Swarup says, is the most hottest imperialism on the planet Earth under religious garb. We'll look at some other time. So, essentially, that's what we discussed today. Just a brief Punjab geography in the BARI Doab, some reflections and music by your articulate anchor, J. Reddy. The ZamZama top 5 at Lahore in the Lahore resolution, resident of Nahar, Canal in Purbiya Plains, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the important prominent Congress leader, the Prime Minister at that time, 1946, takes to flight. He notices when he was flying over or running away, his Sampurna resolution was just thrown into the Ravi river at Lahore, and he's the city where he passed as no place in the truncated realm, Darul Harb, to which he is the Wazir, the Prime Minister. Unfortunate story of it, or is it unfortunate story of Congress, pusillanimity, cowardice, or inability of Hindu intellectuals to see through Saiful Islam, sword of Islam, ideological naivete about having some deeper idea about the closed militant creed of imperialism marketed as a religion. The interesting event in the Punjab plains of BARI Doab played on the Lahore's Iqbal's Park or Jinnah's Park or Minar-e-Pakistan. That is the story today. And before we leave, we always look at our land. The land, this is the Lahore city, historic Lahore city, you see. And across it Shadara and Jinnah. In the Lahore city we have Badashahi Mosque in the rear, and we have this resolution is passed in that area, and we can see a little bit higher, you can see Badashahi Mosque, Minar-e-Pakistan, Badashahi Mosque, Ajadi Chowk, Minar-e-Pakistan. You can see the Minar-e-Pakistan. Here you can see Minar-e. This is the place ZamZama was fired at entire Kafiri population, and especially targeting the Congress. They invited them to wrestle the sword and exchange the sword. Those leadership simply refused because they portrayed that their policy is non-violence and ahimsa. Very high-sounding titles. They took an escape route very easily, and told all those nonsense thing by Machiavellists in India. Today a lot of people in India just this, so we got the independence by non-violence. What are you talking about? British just they wanted leave the India, and they transferred the power to the most constitutionalist who didn't pose any threat to them. They were a part of a same story bodies. So that's what it is. When some serious thinker sits there and looks at it, takes away his ideological orientation, want to say what has happened, why this has happened, what has happened, this is the conclusion they will get. And that is what the audience can think about and pass your own judgment or comments or compliments. And thank you very much today. We will continue our fascinating journey in the land of Punjab, a great land, in the continuing months. And see you later. Dhanyavad.